What is Aiken? Episode 158, Golden Mike Live. It's your boy Marc Cordon. Today's guest, oh my gosh, today's guest. You guys by demand wanted him back. He talks to angels. He's been a coach for over, 14 years, 15 years, works with people, has worked with people in addiction, used to own a big ass pizza company, and he's still not sick of pizza. Do you still love pizza?
Yeah, man.
Good.
I love it.
My good friend, my pal, and someone who's here to talk about the idea of success and failure, Herman Jaramillo. Herman, how are you today, brother?
Great, man. Feeling great.
It is good to see you. It is really
Me
good
too.
to see you.
I love to be here.
Yeah, of course people love you here because they can't get enough of you. By demand, they screamed for Herman to come back on episode 158. So here he is. You wanted him, you got him to talk about success and failure not really being of anything. It is a complete illusion. Aiken! Now here's the deal. Episode 158, Golden Mike Live. It's your boy Marc Cordon. Today's guest. Oh my gosh,
Thank
today's
you, man.
guest. You guys by demand wanted him back. He's positive psychology coach, founder of the Make Money Coaching program, co-founder of the Joy Revolution, and more importantly, on a regular basis, I get to ask folks like Herman, like my guest yesterday, like my family, like myself, two questions. It's an easy gig, baby. It's an easy gig. And the two questions are this: how happy are you today? And how much are you living in your full purpose today? So Herman, double-barreled question. How happy are you? How much are you living in your full purpose, baby?
I'm very happy. I've never been happier more in my life.
Oh, wow.
And I'm living my whole purpose, man. It's wonderful. It's the best thing in the world.
Amazing, amazing. Now, for those of you who are feeling the same on this Friday, feeling like you're living in full purpose, feeling happy, Herman, give me that heart. Give me that heart. Let me show you how to beat that heart. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. Herman, I love it. Hit that heart. Let Herman and I know that you are alive. Now, here's the other thing. Positive psych is not about being happy 24/7, contrary to popular belief. It is more about the ups, the downs, and the all-arounds of life. It is about bouncing back from things. It is about being joyful after times where you've maybe have been experiencing pain. So it's the ups and the downs, right? So if you're like, Jaramillo, Cordon, I am not happy today, or Jaramillo, everybody calls him Jaramillo. Actually, everybody calls him Mercury. But Mercury, I've been in a job for 30 years. I'm not feeling my purpose anymore. That's cool. That's part of your hero's journey, baby. So if you are on your hero's journey and you're not totally feeling it, but you know you're going to be telling that story one day, like Herman's telling his right now, give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up and let this conversation entertain you. Let it wash over you, and you never know what sticks. Now, here's the final thing. Oh, I've been waiting for you to do this. I love doing this part. If you are hopeful, that is one of the most powerful things you can do. If you know that today you can create the best day of your life, and I'm not talking about the shits and giggles best day of your life, but you are creating the best day of your life from everything that you've learned, the ups and the downs. That's hope theory, baby. And it's as powerful as IQ and EQ when it comes to pursuing a life of your dreams. So if you're feeling that, there's another button down there. It's called the wow face. And Herman is going to show you what that wow face looks like. Show me that wow face, Herman. He gives me a millisecond wow face, but it's enough for me to screen capture that. I love it, Herman. With all of that said, Herman, it's great to have you back. I always love interacting with you. So let's start here again. Your story. What is it?
Born in the States, in Chicago. At 11 years old, we came to live to Colombia. My parents are Colombian. Had a pretty hard teenage years. My mother passed away when I was 18 years old out of cancer. That pretty much changed my life coming to become a complete atheist. Um, I started to work. I love to be an entrepreneur. I had a lemonade stand since I was 8 years old in Chicago, and later on, I sold everything I could in school. I started to work when I left school at Tower Records. Then I went into the pizza business. For in Tower, I worked 4 years, in pizza business 12 years.
Now, Tower Records, when they used to sell the cassettes, and if you wanted to buy the cassette, you'd have to go and take it with the whole plastic piece on it. Like
I
that.
got the CDs. I didn't get to sell cassettes, unfortunately. I used to make mixtapes, but I didn't get to sell the cassettes, man.
Nice, nice,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it was wonderful.
And then you went and you opened that pizza stand. I wouldn't want to call it
Well,
pizza stand, but you opened a pizza. You had a pizza restaurant for a while.
yeah, we had that with my family, and then it was a nationwide pizza chain here in Colombia, which I managed over 12 years.
Okay.
And in the middle of that, I was thinking about how I can be happier because I thought my life was complete disaster. I thought it was the worst thing I could live, and I thought if I had money, I'll be happy. So let's get money. Started to look for businesses, started to gain money however I could. I even touched the doors of illegal businesses here in Colombia. Fortunately, nothing turned out. But at the end, I started to lend money at a high interest, and well, one thing led to another, and I lost it all. That made me pretty much change my life and said, okay, if I continue this path, I'll end up in jail or probably dead, or let's find something else. And I found a book one day. It found me, Conversation with God, which was pretty strange because I was an atheist and I was against religion and God and everything that had to do with it. I just took a chance and what the heck of it. I read it, changed my life. It pretty much saved my life. Then from then on, I started to study Reiki. Then my wife introduced me, who today is my wife, introduced me into angels. And I found I had a gift there. I could talk with dead people, past lives, all these, read energies, chakras, and like, okay, this is cool. I always had this fascination towards addictions, and I started to work in a foundation with addicts over 4 years. And also I started to learn coaching because I saw that all the intuitive gifts were not enough to help change people. So I said, I need the other part is coaching towards the future action steps. So I started to study that, different modalities also. And I put everything into one own process that's has to do with healing of the inner child. And it goes from angels to emotions to everything pretty much. It's a big mix there.
That
And
is
I love doing it.
that is wild. So okay, so are my angels around me again today?
Of course, man. They're always there.
Can you tell me what? Can you tell me how they're doing today? They're doing well, right? They're all
They're
doing well.
great,
Are they
especially on your
laughing?
left side, man.
This dude?
Yeah, they're right
What is
there.
that? The
I see a
Germans?
couple of them.
Are they laughing right now?
Yeah, they're having a blast with you.
Good, because I'm having a blast with them. Hey guys, if you have a question for Herman, just ask him directly. He can hear you. Now here's the deal. You had some ups and you also had some downs. And all of a
Yeah,
sudden now here we are today talking about this idea that success and failure do not exist. I mean, it seems like the past Herman was almost identified. Your identity was based on success and failure.
yeah, pretty much. It was like I measure myself. I am somebody or not somebody measured on failure or success
Okay, and I heard that you were unhappy, right? I heard that you were unhappy.
several times. Yeah.
Was it because of the failure success paradigm that you were working on?
Well, that's one of the things I started to identify with because the failure and success was very short limited, first of all, was very unfair because there were several quote unquote failures that I had that I thought, okay, how could I have done it differently if I didn't know how to do it differently? So it was inevitable. I had to fail. So it was unfair to measure me in that way. And the other people that I felt were measuring me, and sometimes it's even more invented because obviously we bring stuff from our childhood years that we were measured that way because part of how we create this is when we were children, we started to see how our parents gave us or didn't give us love. and it was based on results. If you do something based on what they wanted, they'll give us love. If not, they will not give us love. And I believe one of the basic necessities of a human being is to give and receive love. So we start measuring everything out of results. And we start measuring in a way of saying failure and success. Did I do good? Great. If I didn't, bad. And I would get in problems and all this. So I brought that structure from little to big, and I started to look for that the whole time. And for example, there's another part of the process that is the process part. And I never looked at it because I only thought if I do something, it has to bring in a positive result. If not, why am I doing it? It'll become a hobby or something like that. And I didn't go beyond what I really wanted. And I was not giving myself an opportunity to live my life, because unless I really want to be me, it's not based on a result. It's not based on failure or success. It's who I am and who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. So that's what got me thinking a lot. And eventually I was looking for only results, and it didn't bring me the results that I wanted, first of all. And second of all, I started to look at those quote unquote failures as a way of, these are successes also. It pretty much depends on how you want to look at it, the perception. And in the moment that it happens, it's impossible to really know if that event, it's really a success or a failure. So you have to look at it in the future afterwards, but you have to look at it from a very compassionate way, not from a judgmental way. You screwed up, you did this bad. It's more like, okay, this happened. How can I take advantage of it, and why did I do it, and how can I do it differently?
So it's not necessarily the event that doesn't exist. It's the judgment that we put on it that's false, right?
Yeah, it's a perception. There are several things that have happened to all of us. For example, having a partner that we thought we lost that partner, it was going to be like, I'm never going to get anybody else in my life. And it was the worst thing in the moment. And today, after years, you might say, I would never have been able to marry that person. Fortunately, I'm not with that person. It was the best thing that could happen to me. So it's a matter of perception. The event is the same. The person left me. Felt like crap. I felt like the worst person in the world, like a complete and utter failure. And that has happened to the majority of us. Today, we might say, hey, thank God this happened, man, because I want to be able to be with that person.
So Herman, if I were to ask you, like, what are the top 3 to 5 biggest problems with, I wouldn't say problems, but biggest challenges with buying into a failure success paradigm, what would you say are the top ones?
The first one has to do with mainly that you're looking at your life through the lens of acceptance of others. Mainly what we use failure and success has to do, for example, you failed, and one of the first things that comes up to your mind is what other people are going to say, or how I'm going to show this to other people. And or if you go to victim mode, it's like, I'm going to use this to get pity from other people. But immediately you go for a way to externalize. And also with success. So it's the same thing. It's like, okay, how can I use this success with other people's acceptance in a way that will benefit me? Unfortunately, that's why sometimes we look for goals. It happens to goal, and like, is that all? Because unless we use it constantly with other people, it's not going to make a good benefit for us, and this is very unconsciously. The second quote-unquote problem that can happen there would be like what we said before, is to determine who I am based on a result and based on the failure success model that everybody puts out. So if you're single, for example, you're a loser. If you're married, you're good. If you have a job, great. If you don't, you're a loser. If you have money, if you have a car, whatever, it's based on really pretty much everybody wants you to have or do. So it's unfair because you're living your life like based on, hey, everybody tell me how should I live it, and based on the results you guys give me so you can accept me also. So it pretty much goes into those two dynamics that I feel and at the same time you won't enjoy life because it's all the time like you're based on a number or on a purpose or on a car or on a house. So your life only goes in that direction. You don't look on the sides. You don't see what else can come in. And sometimes, for example, that I've changed that part is like I'm opening my eyes and seeing, okay, Life can be lived differently. And I'm looking at my life more long term instead of short term, because it was like, I need this month, this amount of money, and that's it. And it's like, that's my whole life. And this is a car that I want, or I wanted it. That's my life. That's who I am. A car. I'm not saying I don't want the car today, but that's all who I am. I
Mm.
don't believe so. So it's living a life that I feel that at the end of the day, you're not going to be gratified out of it. You're not going to feel like completely in purpose, first of all. And second, you're not going to be really content with yourself.
I love it, man. I love it. And by the way, you listed 6 things.
Oh, really?
You
Okay.
broke my question, bro. I said 5. Play within the rules, son.
Okay, man.
Fail.
So,
Fail.
damn, man.
We got a couple people saying hi. Uh, our friend Janet Sellers Ellis, Janet Planet is
Hey,
here to say
Janet.
hi. Hi, Janet. I hope you're doing well. I can't wait to hear from you and come on the show. Also, at the same time, Melanie Klein is tuning in and
Hey,
saying hi.
Melanie.
So, lots of people watching live, watching the replay. And if you are, it's time. Hit that heart button. I want to see Herman get to 20 hearts right now for giving his time for us. Now, how, in terms of you moving towards a place where you let go, right? Let go of that idea of failure and success. And I can see that being very difficult, to be honest, because that's something that we're indoctrinated with since we're children. But if you can let go of that, what happens as a result? Like, okay, I don't believe in the success failure paradigm anymore. Like, so what?
I live my life from a level of a process, first of all. It's like there are goals, but I believe what becomes is more measuring what you do in your life. So let's go from a very basic example. One thing is to do exercise each and every day. And it's great if you can create a process and a habit in your life to eat well and to do exercise. But at the same time, it's good if you measure it, because sometimes people have done great diets and it's not good for them, or they have
Right.
done exercises that affect them. So it's good to measure. It's different, the measurement part, from looking at it from a failure success part. So my life has changed mainly because I'm starting to look at it long term. It's like I'm not based on one result. I'm based on like who I want to be, and this is who I'm going to be. In each and every day, I'll try to look for ways to be even more me, because there are days that eventually I'll go to another path, or I'll learn something new, I'll discover something that it can help me out. So I'm open to changing this each and every day. And I'm measuring it out, obviously, because we're in a world, well, you need certain results. You need money, you need stuff like this, you need a healthy weight, all these different kinds of things, and you should measure it. But at the same time, be open and compassionate to yourself to be able to change it and to look at it. Okay, it's not working. It's not that I'm doing something bad. And at the same time, it's looking at it. I look at myself as never doing something bad. I believe what we do is it's what we do it with what we have in that moment, information, what we're feeling in that moment, and the tools that we have. And we're always doing it towards our self-love. So it's something that I believe that if we look at it from that point of view, it's different, because we can be more compassionate. It's easy to today to look at Herman 6 months ago, that I screwed up, and be very harsh on myself and say what an idiot and stupid. But I believe that's almost like being a coward, because it's easy today to say it because I have the information, I have the results. For me, it's being courageous to say today, hey, why did I do it? What were my real intentions here? Or if there are any fears, emotional voids coming up for me to be able to do that, even though it looks terrible, but at the end of the day, I was looking at it for myself, for feeling better with myself. So it's changed because I live a life day to day in a better way. I live more in peace with myself. And at the end of the day, one of the things I really want for myself and other people is to really live our lives who we truly are, and not based on everybody else.
I, I love this, and I mean, we talk about this. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. In the Joy Revolution, we talked about this idea of what does it truly mean to live a good life, And it's almost as if you base your life on successes and failures, your identity becomes that, and you can tend to become addicted to success, the dopamine rush of success,
Yeah,
right? And
exactly.
um, and it's a short game you start to play. Blinders start to go up, and then when you fail, it's catastrophic because your identity is completely I'm a loser. Like,
Exactly.
not that, okay, this event happened and I can use that as information to continue living a good life. So I'm definitely hearing process, but does that mean when we start living more of a life of where we're enjoying the process that we discard the outcomes? You know, like the
No,
process versus outcomes. Yeah.
no, we look at it from measuring, from waking up each and every day. How am I doing? What is like a checkup, and that's a part of the goals that you have to put into there. It's not I am the goal. It's part of the process. It's looking if the process is working or not for you, if it's okay with it, and that's where you start measuring through. Well, it can be big or small goals, but hopefully each and every day or periodically.
Okay, so
So
we can still hold on to things that we use in the failure success paradigm, like having goals. But when we become so dependent on them, that's when it becomes problematic. Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah, it's not becoming dependent only on the process or only on the goals. It's pretty much creating a balance between the two of them, where
Okay,
you're living a process, but you're measuring it continually, so you can see if the process is working or not.
okay. So like, I'm thinking, like, when people who are very uh, goal oriented. I can definitely see that. Very Western culture minded, right? Almost chasing happiness, the pursuit of happiness type of thing. What is a type like I don't mean to create an archetype, but like for a person watching and saying, yeah, I don't chase that. I don't believe in goals either. Like I'm 100% process oriented. What might that look like? What might like the first thing that I think of is like a woo person or something, right? Which I'm not.
Yeah,
But like
no way.
I think of that. They're laughing. Those angels back
I
there are
know.
laughing at me right now.
Everybody's laughing, man.
So like what might that person look like, and what challenges might they have in life, with
Well,
living
it's
their
really
fullest life?
yeah, you lose accountability. That's the main goal
Oh,
there. That's the main problem there,
yep.
because first of all, especially in the woo world that I'm into that, and well, the religious doesn't go that far from it either. In the case of looking for angels or God or whatever we look out there, we tend to depend on them so much. So it becomes something like from crystals. If you have this crystal, with this crystal, you'll be able to heal this. And it's like, okay, I put it on here and that's it. Or ask your angel this, or God will always provide and stuff like this, which it has some kind of truth. But at the same time, if you don't do something, so it's almost impossible. It becomes something that you lose yourself there.
I
And
love it. It takes again, it takes personal accountability away in a certain
exactly,
way. Like, oh, you know you know the here's something, you know, God will provide.
yeah,
Right? Like just laying back and saying that the process will provide, right? When
yeah,
and then you sit back and you're lazy. Like I don't think
exactly,
anything comes about from that, or saying something along the lines of, there's times in desperation where someone might ask like, please just send me a sign or help me right now, like, but like doing it on a daily basis where it's like almost not knowing who you are to the point where you're asking your angels on a regular basis, like, what's up? That I can see that taking away from accountability. Yeah, I see them all. They're all going like, "Yup, Mark, you're
yeah.
so good, bro." You shut up. Like, yeah, is it? Would you say that that's am
Yeah,
I picking that up
it's
right?
mainly like they're here to help, from God to angels to a crystal to an oracle, whatever. All of that's to help, but it's not the solution. It's not the only thing. You have to do something there, and at the same time, you might do. stuff that it's not working, and that's where you have to tweak it. You have to learn from it. So sometimes we fall into a process and we just do and do and do and do, and at the same time we're scared of looking at results, because if we look at a result, we will go into the success failure structure, and that's where we're afraid from. So I cannot look at this from a result, because if I don't make it, I'll fail and all hell will go loose. So it's, sometimes I don't like to look at results either, because that's an easy way out.
Yeah. Now, have you? I mean, this is a great way to approach life. Have you completely let go of the paradigm, or does it still creep up with you?
No, it's going to be there. I believe it's something. It's like those emotional scars that we have. It's always going to be there. I believe they never go. And
So,
one thing is to bring them up, and the Dalai Lama says you can't control the emotions that come up, but you can control what you do with them. So it's going to come up, and it's like, hey, this month I have to pay bills, and immediately that paradigm goes into there. So in that moment, I acknowledge it. It's, what am I going to do with this? And I go back to the process, or I go back to the measurement and all of this, and how can I work with the process so I can get the results differently and all of that. So
it's now when you first started doing this, because it sounds like you're on the road to mastery, right? Like it comes up, and then like you're like, oh, I can get back to the process. But
yeah.
what I can see is when you're moving away from this paradigm into a newer paradigm, it could come up and completely discombobulate you, right?
Oh yeah.
And so, what were some of the things that you started, or that you did when it started coming up, and you'd start to see yourself get discombobulated? How can you get back to the new paradigm?
Well, it all starts from, first of all, if you really want to come out of that paradigm. Because normally, before, you would have told me a long time ago, or well, some years ago, you want to come out of this, and I would have said, no, that's the only way of living. It's like, hello, that's pretty
As you
obvious.
sat on your pile of pizza and cash, right?
Exactly, man. That
Oh,
was the
that's the
only
life.
way.
That's like
No,
the
no,
hedonic
I would
life,
never. I
pizza.
don't want to go back there, man.
Ah,
Um,
nice.
because of the pizza, yes, but the rest of the business, no. Um, so it pretty much really, it depends on if you're convinced of coming out of it. If you see in the process, the importance of it and what it can give you. It took me a while, and eventually a lot of people told me about it, and I didn't hear them. Just one day from another, I started to make clicks, and things started to work around my life, and I started to see the signs differently. But until then, I started to be more convinced of really doing it, because unless of that, if you're not convinced, if you don't want to do it, don't try to do it, because it's going to be hell.
And what are the things that you've experienced as a result of like moving on this road to mastery now? Like I could definitely see a perspective change on the light on your life, but also with that perspective change, what have you seen as an outgrowth of that perspective change? Because like at first you did an ROI when you're sitting on all those pizzas and money, right? No, this is the life. Well, now you're sitting here telling me this is the life, Mark. And
Well,
what
I
is
believe
going
all
on?
is life. It pretty much depends on where you are in the moment. So, in this today, for example, my whole business, my coaching business, has taken another path, because before it was mainly like, how can I get client today, and what do I need to put in Facebook Live or whatever to get a client today, and to see how much I can get money out of it, and the ROI immediately, instead of
Yeah.
thinking of my business more long term and in something bigger. So before, I was intuitive coach or relationship coach or whatever, it was very small. It's nothing bad with it, but I really want to get and help people out. And thinking in this way, very short term, was something that was not helping me.
Mm.
Second, that I'm not looking at my budget and an Excel worksheet as month by month, and I have money until this month, and how I'm going to do this or that. And if a client comes in and starting to say that I needed a client and I received anybody, and hey, can you give me a discount? Go ahead, and stuff like this. And I did it out of fear. And I started to receive people that, well, probably were not my ideal client. And that made me feel not so good, because I was not giving the service I wanted. So I started to see everything from a different point of view of, okay, I'm going to do this long term. I'm not going to worry about the cent each and every day. Obviously, there's a measurement out of it. And hey, if I need money tomorrow, how can I get it? But it started to look, and I started to feel more in peace with myself and what I'm doing. I'm really enjoying much more what I'm doing today than I was before. I'm coming to a place of really looking at my life much more bigger, not so narrow-minded. It's something like, whoa, I can do all of this with this. So it's, go
Yeah,
ahead.
to me, what I'm hearing is sort of sort of this self acceptance that's coming on, self compassion, joy. I'm
Yeah,
hearing like sort of that inner peace that you were talking about, and I'm hearing freedom as well.
yeah,
Like an increased
completely.
feeling of freedom, because you are no longer a slave to the old school success or failure. It's not like you obtain success, it's like you are success, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. There's no event, there's no data that you need. You don't need to be validated. You just are
That's,
success. Is it? Yeah.
yeah, the validation for me, it's something
Yeah.
basic. So today I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's like, I'm not looking for acceptance. So before I was telling everybody just to get acceptance. Today is like, I'm doing what I'm doing. I
I
don't need to tell
absolutely
anybody. I don't need to look for that.
I absolutely love it. You got Carrie Ann in here going, "Hi, Mercury." So, and by the way, you're blowing the roof off this place. For those of you who are still watching, or who are watching, continue to hit that heart. We're at 61 hearts and counting, baby. Can we get it to 70? Can we get it to 70 hearts? That's the challenge. The Mercury challenge, 70 hearts. So at the end of the day, what is this all about then? Because if we start off our lives and you start out by saying, well, at the end of the day, it's about success and failure. Well, you've thrown that paradigm out, right? So at the end of the day, what is this all about then?
That's a big question. It's mainly one of the things or conclusions I've come up with in my own life. It's to live my life. It's to be the real me, to come up as I truly am. Who is that? I've been discovering that for 40 plus years, and I'm going to continue discovering as long as I live.
Mm.
But it's to have the freedom to be able to let myself come up as who I truly am, and to share that with other people, and to let other people share that with myself, and help other people also come to that place, not only through coaching, but family relationships, friends, however. But I believe it's pretty much bringing my essence out there to the world. That's my main goal out
Mm.
of all of this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so if you were to articulate that essence, what would it be?
It's being me. That's it. I just I want to feel happy and proud of the person I'm seeing in front of myself in a mirror, and saying, yeah, man, I really love you, and I'm really proud of you, and I'm happy to be you and not somebody else. That for me is the basic thing in the world.
And isn't that like what a lot of people, if you try to really distill down what they want, it would be that, right?
In essence, yes.
Mm-hmm.
We look at it through other ways, but yeah, it's
Okay.
like,
So,
mm.
so I know that you have access to things that not a lot of us are able to access. And I want to go there. What other illusions do we buy into?
Oh, for me, for example, forgiveness is another illusion.
Oh, let's talk about this. Forgiveness is an illusion.
Yeah, man, it's something that I've tried to take out of my vocabulary and out of my life. I believe forgiveness is divided in three parts. I forgive you because you've done something quote unquote bad to me.
Mm-hmm.
I ask you for forgiveness because I did something bad to you, or self forgiveness. So if you look at the first part, I ask you for forgiveness. It's like I don't need to ask you for forgiveness at the end of the day. It's not feeling arrogant. But how's the best way for me to change the attitudes, first of all? Change my how I'm behaving. So in this way, it's the best way. I remember once when I was working with addicts, this this man came up to me and he said, my son is not forgiving me. And I'm like, okay, why? Tell me a little bit about it. Yeah, I drink. I go back to the foundation. Then I drink again. I go back to the foundation. It's like, man, it's obvious that he doesn't even believe you. So he's not going to forgive you unless you change this behavior. He won't be able to forgive you. So at the same time, it's like there are things that we do to other people, and it's not really our fault. I can say something to you, and it probably can trigger an emotional wound that you have, and it's not my
Awesome.
fault. So exactly. So that's part of so that's part of what is happening there. The second part, um, you forgive me, I forgive you, I'm sorry, has to do, if you look at Carl Jung, with the shadow. Everything that what bothers you of other people is something that you don't want to recognize or see in yourself. So this helped me out, especially with my father, that we had a difficult relationship, and I held a great grudge against him until I started to see how everything that I felt that he did onto me was something I was doing in my life with myself or with other people that completely changed, and I started to appreciate not that he did it to me, but I started to change my perception of letting go of the rage that I have towards him, and I started to say, okay, thank you internally, because now I can change my life and I can do something with it differently and not create this with myself or other people. And the self-love part, like we said before, self-forgiveness, I'm sorry, like we said before, I don't believe we do anything bad. So it's mainly like looking at it from a very compassionate way and saying, okay, why did I do this? What was I looking for? What were the fears there? So it's mainly coming to that place and holding myself accountable, but in a compassionate way, and to be able to say, okay, did I get the result, or did I? What happened there? Did I like it or not? No. Okay, let's start to change that, but understand why I did it first of all. And we do it out of self love. So that's why I believe forgiveness is a word that it's lost all its power. We say to people, "Hey, forgive me. Will you forgive me?" Yes, and we see kids, for example, bringing up to their mother, "Hey, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me," and it's like, and it's not even forgiveness. The kid doesn't even care. It's like, continue giving me love so I can give you love. That's the main issue there. It's beyond the if you get taken away your iPhone or whatever. It's mainly like I need love. So forgiveness has become something that's lost all its power. Relationships, people do bad things to other people and forgive me. They believe the whole world is going to change and that's it. It's not like that. It's something more internal.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I'm seeing I'm seeing a line being a connecting line between the idea of when you start moving towards or away from the success failure model, then the idea of forgiveness starts disappearing, right? Like that's a very success failure type of
Oh
thing,
yeah,
forgiveness, right?
yeah.
I failed, forgive. You know, like no, why don't you we just abandon the bullshit structure? That's that the
Yeah.
illusion of the structure. Sorry, guys. They're laughing again, right?
They're having a wonderful time there,
But
man.
like we're getting rid of that structure, and in getting rid of that structure, you know, you can go back and do almost like an autopsy of an event and say, if I truly look at this event and I was truly coming from a place where I actually was trying to do something and it didn't come out the way that I intended to, but I can still use the data to help it move forward. And now my intention is that I continue to move with compassion, with freedom, with faith, acceptance, believing in myself. And that's really this new paradigm, right? I am successful. And at the moment, with the information that I was given and given the tools that I had, that's the best you could get at me out of me at that moment. Of course, I know
Exactly.
better now, and because I've learned from it, I will now be able to move and make other decisions based on that. It's all about choice.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing with the
Yeah,
forgiveness
perfectly,
piece?
man. Perfectly.
Okay, so what's another way to think about that then? If the word forgiveness completely disappears out, what's just another way to think about it then?
Well, it's mainly looking at yourself through a compassionate lens. It's looking at change, accountability. I want to put in one word because it pretty much depends on the circumstance and humility that you look at yourself also because it's you have to be very humble. You have to be in a good place to be able to look at this differently.
Hmm.
It's not from your head. It's mainly a heart
Yeah.
work that you need to do on. So um, it's different, but it's very empowering. It will help you change your life, and if you look at it from a rational way, also, it's very logical. I believe. Hmm.
Wow. I feel like if I talked to Herman 20 years ago, like this would be a very different discussion.
Oh my God, yeah, completely. It was the rage that I used to have and everything like that. It was too big. It was, yeah.
So Herman, with
I wasn't the best person in the world, so.
so Herman, with this mindset now and this sort of change in sort of the blinders being opened, what are you looking forward to most with where you're going?
Um, freedom, freedom to be me, freedom to help other people, to get to this place, to create momentum in their life,
Mm,
to really be able to. I don't want to go into the cliche of getting their dreams or achieving their dreams, but it's mainly that. It's really living a life of purpose.
mm-hmm,
It's something bigger, it's something deeper. It's not superficial.
mm-hmm.
And it's really coming to a place of feeling really proud with themselves. So that's my main goal here, and that's where I believe I'm going with all of this, and hopefully with other people also.
Amazing. So for those of you watching live or the replay, you can connect with Herman right now. His link is right there. Just hit it and connect with him, and we can go from there. But before we proceed, I need to check in with my boys over here.
Sure,
What are
man.
they trying to tell me this time? What what are they screaming at me?
Are you sure you want to go that path?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Um, they want you to be more happy. They haven't felt you so happy these days.
I'm feeling great today, guys. But I want
Today, yeah, but these
okay,
days they're asking you to feel more happy. They're asking for
okay.
more,
Okay, I can do
more
that. I
smiles.
can do
Yeah,
that. I think I've been willing things too hard versus just being, right?
yeah, enjoying more life.
I said it. I said I've been willing things too. Hate arguing with them, but I agree with them. They are always right, and they're always watching out for my back, right?
And they
Um,
love you very much, man.
I love them too. Now this is the. I also have another question because you can see them.
Sure.
Is there a big guy behind me? Is there a big
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
Was he the one who spoke to me in San Diego when I was at a retreat, or was it someone else?
No, he was there. He was there talking to you. Yeah.
So that was his voice.
Yep.
Incredible! This is incredible. Yes, I did what he's very. That dude is a very like direct person.
Yeah. But he's a protector person for you. So
Amazing,
um,
amazing,
look for him for protection and for help. Yeah.
amazing, amazing. So okay, so this you've been talking about the idea of thanks for going there with me for a second, Herman.
No
You've
problem.
been talking about these whole concepts, right? If someone works with you or wants to work with you, what does this look like? Are you coaching them? Is it a group program? Like what are we
Yeah, I'm
doing?
doing one-on-one coachings,
Okay,
and also I'm creating a group program to help even more people at the same time. That's my main goal.
right
And
on.
the idea is to come out of that uh, failure success paradigm and to be able to live more a life of purpose, to
Okay,
gain the momentum constantly in their life, to not get stuck each path or each moment of their life looking at it from the results part, but to be able to know how they should measure it, how they can live out of purpose, out of with a process, a correct process, and how they can live their true lives and feel very happy with themselves and be able to construct something very big instead of just something small. So it's beautiful what we can
it
do
sounds
together.
beautiful, man. And in terms of working one on one, they can get in touch with you now to do one on one work.
Yeah, man, perfectly.
When is the program coming out?
I believe in July it's
July.
coming out.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I would love to have you back when the program comes out so we can talk about it
perfect.
in July. But
I would
you
love
guys
that.
heard it here first. Herman's program on momentum. It's coming out in July. We've got some one-on-ones. Just contact Herman, and you can start moving from a place where, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like there's got to be more to life than this, if you're feeling like, man, it is true, like I blame others and I look to others for solutions. If you're looking for the solutions, they're probably inside of you, and Herman can help you unlock those and create momentum. So contact him right now, or go to Herman Jaramillo at yahoo.com. But probably the best way is through Facebook, Facebook message. And then we got this group program coming out in July. I'm so excited about it, on momentum as well. Herman, we're going to have you back in July. You just called your shot, my friend.
Yeah, wonderful.
So you just jumped
I love it.
Man. So thank you so much. And you know what's going on now, my friend.
Yep.
A golden mic is now descending from your ceiling. Are they proud of me?
Of course, man.
You better damn be proud of me, guys. It's
descending
from the ceiling. Everyone can hear what this golden mic does. It amplifies and translates to the entire world. So that's the visioning activity. The golden mic is in front of you. I'm about to flip it on, and the entire world is listening to the message that you need to tell it. Herman Jaramillo, your golden mic is live now.
Learn to love your life completely.
Herman,
that's it, man.
I want you to take that golden mic in front of all the angels and saints. All the world, because we're gonna shut it off for the weekend, and I want you to smash that golden mic, Herman. Step on it, jump with both feet on it. We are gonna have you. I hear your chair squeaking. It's so awesome. We are going to have you back to officially announce the Momentum program. Herman, absolute blast working with you. You are such a joy, and you make me a better person every time.
Thank you, Mark. The same here, man.
Yeah. We're definitely going to have him back, but for now, we are turning off our cameras, social media, so that we can spend the weekend with our family, our friends. We can go and interact with the real world. We advise you to do the same, because these guys want me to have more fun in my life.
Yeah.
We'll do it. Now, Herman and I have one final question for you, and it's this. If you're living a life where you're happy, if you're living a life where you're in full purpose, what is your responsibility to change history for the better? Golden Mike 158 with Herman Jaramillo and Marc Cordon. We are out. Stick around, brother.
Thank you.